Good people, good people. This is another week, another episode, NFL pregame report. We're on week 3. So, hey, this is your boy Cool McCain, and I'm going to go around and let everyone introduce themselves to you, and then we're going to get into it. Alec, we'll start with you.
What's going on, everyone? I am Alec Nava, writer on the NHL side of the Shea Sports Network, play-by-play on Spaces and Twitch. So I do regular coverage not only on NFL, also NHL and other sports around the block. So tune in if you want to listen up to the cast. Later on, be live for Ravens Cowboys.
TJ?
I'm TJ Bartholomew with Shady Sports Network. I also do an indoor football podcast during the NFL offseason, and I'm also a content writer and article writer for the website as well.
And our very own Skip Bayless.
Yo, you know what it is. Cedric Green, you know what I'm saying, at 303 Bandwagon from Shady Sports Network. Holding it down for fantasy football reports. Catch us tonight at 7 p.m. We'll be doing instant reactions, updates on injuries and fantasy points, and then Tuesday nights at 6:30 p.m. But always fun to be on here with Cool. You know, we go back to the, calling us team games these past few years too. So it's fun to be back on this format, and then to come in challenge too. I got some heat coming this year, so let's go.
See, you know how people say things and it's really a setup? Right? Because a Denver fan is saying he got some heat, right? So I could easily say I know who doesn't have heat, but I'm not going to do that.
Hey, it ain't right? Travis Hunter. I'll tell you that. Well, that's another day.
It is another day.
Well, I mean, that punch-out was beautiful from last night. What a wild ending.
I mean, his whole game all around. But, yeah.
All I can say is that boy good.
I mean, very.
All right, guys. So we're gonna go ahead and dig into the NFL. So we'll start off. First topic was gonna be name a team. It could be your team, it could be another team you love, team you hate, that surprised you with their play, and good or bad. So let's go Skip first so we can go ahead and get the most obnoxious one out of the way. Go
ahead, All right. No. A team that surprised me with their play, good or bad. Oh, man, I don't even think I really touched on this.
1 or 2. Well, week 1 and 2, like a compilation so far this season.
Okay, because, I mean, well, there are so many 0-2 teams and 2-0 teams I was going through. But anyway, I'd say a team that I feel like maybe – is coming out kind of hot, and I didn't expect them to maybe come out that hot, is I'll have to go with the Saints. Honestly, I didn't expect. I mean, I guess, Tampa Bay to be somewhat decent because they carried it over, but I didn't expect anything of this nature in the shape or form from the Saints. They've been the best team in the first 2 weeks all across the board, at least, from what I've seen in their offensive stats. I haven't really looked into the defensive side of it, but I mean, they've been blowing teams out. So that's my pick for the most surprising team through the first 2 weeks.
TJ, who do you have?
I'd have to go with the Minnesota Vikings. I did not see them starting off 2-0, especially with their schedule playing San Fran last week. People can, make whatever they want out of the injuries, some of the injuries that the 49ers have currently. But you know what? With those same exact injuries, they looked fine in week 1, but they lost last week to the Vikings. So Vikings would be my pick. Sam Darnold, man. Let's go.
All right, Alec, what about you?
Yeah, you two make very good points to the Saints and the Vikings. We didn't see this coming from both of them. What I was really surprised on, in a bad term of such, is the Jaguars. I don't get them. They have all the tools they need for a playoff push. They got all the offensive weapons that they have. Brian Thomas Jr., Christian Kirk, Evan Ingram, Travis Etienne. Defensively, they should be sound with Josh Hines, Allen, Tyson Campbell, who, by the way, is on the IR, Devin Lloyd, Foye Oluokun, and then you have a lot more. Where is the enough? Where's the line to be taken seriously? I get they're already 0-2, but I'm starting to get concerned with this team because Trevor Lawrence, yeesh, that was not a good showing in week 2 and not in week 1 either, especially that second half. If you're looking to be taken seriously, perhaps don't fall flat against a Browns team or collapse in the second half to the Dolphins. But most especially, you can't fall flat against a Browns team that is very questionable quarterback play. That cannot happen again. And if this continues to happen, we have to have an honest conversation about Doug Peterson and Trevor Lawrence.
So I'm going to go with the Baltimore Ravens. There is no reason for this team to be 0-2. This is a team that should be competing for a championship this year, looking to knock off Kansas City if they can find a way to beat them in the refs. Instead, we have the reigning MVP, first one ever, to start out 0-2. So Baltimore needs to get things back on track. The defense isn't as great as it was because they're losing pieces. But at the end of the day, you brought in Derrick Henry and you decided that you want Lamar Jackson to be Derrick Henry. And it's not working because he's not Derrick Henry. So Baltimore, I'm going to give you one piece of advice because I don't hate the Ravens any more than I hate anybody else. It's not the Eagles. But I will say this. Run the ball with the running back. And Eagles, if you're listening, I'm talking to you too. All the birds, run the ball with your running backs. How about that?
All right. Echo that message out.
Yes, sir. So we'll move on here, guys. Well, actually, before we move on, is there any other teams? I know we mentioned a few, but is there any other teams you guys want to throw in there since it's just the four of us? We got a opportunity we can run back around.
Man,
anybody want to throw another one out?
I'm not even gonna talk about my Broncos and
remember this is surprises. It's not a surprise that the Broncos suck, so we can't use the Broncos as a surprise.
Hey, they've been hyping us up. I'm surprised that the Chargers came out.
They've only been hyping you up in Denver. No one else has been hyping you up.
I'm surprised the Chargers came out swinging.
Okay.
Oh, shout out to Jim Harbaugh and the Chargers, by the way.
Yeah.
If you run the ball like 30 plus times a game, you normally have a good chance to win.
Yeah, but Herbert, Herbert is questionable. We'll see. Yeah. So
I'd have to say the Carolina Panthers. Not the fact that they are 0-2, but just the fact that they have made absolutely zero improvement from last season. They're just the black hole of the NFL right now.
Oh man,
that's not a surprise to me, but if it is, I feel you.
Or hey, how about the Cardinals as well?
Just to put that into
what about the Cardinals?
Yeah, if we're talking about surprises, I know they're 1-1, but they're a very pleasant surprise to watch. People forget that Kyler Murray is a good quarterback, and he's showing you why he's a good quarterback. His connection with the Maserati, electric.
Yes,
if they keep this up, the Cardinals are a playoff team.
Week 8 is going to start to go down. That new Call of Duty comes out.
Well, sell high window for fantasy players anyway.
Fair enough.
Oh man,
yeah, I'm not even gonna go with second one in this category, but I do agree with you guys, and there are others. But I'm gonna go ahead and move on here. So, secondly, we have a group of 2-0 teams. In you guys' opinion, which ones are contenders and which ones are pretenders? So I'll give the teams, and then we could just go through if you think they're a contender or pretender. So we'll just go down the divisions. AFC East, the Buffalo Bills are 2-0. Are they a contender or are they a pretender? Alec, we'll start with you.
Contender. They've shown that they are still here, and they will not go away anytime soon. Impressive victory over the Cardinals and the Dolphins, and to show for it. Josh Allen didn't have to do that much against Miami with James Cook leading the way. They could be dangerous on the run, and they could be dangerous on the pass. Easy as that. Buffalo is still here.
All right, TJ?
Contender, to kind of piggyback off that. In the past, it's been the Josh Allen show. He kind of had to make stuff happen, but now they don't need him to do things. So I think this season might be the most dangerous in the postseason that they've possibly been the past few years.
Sip.
Contender, right? Who's going to challenge them now? Especially with, I don't see Miami having a bounce back, but who's going to challenge them in that division? So that kind of gives them the playoff spot at least, right?
Yeah, I'll have them as a contender too, but I will admit I'm putting them a little lower on my contender list. And the reason for that is the two teams they beat. I know Arizona had a great second week, but they look like the same Arizona week one. So as they go through the season, we'll see if they stay on my contender list, but I will put them on that list as of now. They've done enough to deserve to at least be on the list. All right. I was about to say the Jets, y'all, but I forgot that they'd already played and they're 2-1.
Oh,
all right. So the next 2-0 team.
Oh, yeah, San Francisco.
The next 2-0 team is the Steelers. We got the Steelers 2-0 as well. So, guys, contender or pretender, TJ, your boys, we'll start with you.
Oh man, I hope my dad's not watching this. Pretenders. Listen, I can be a homer as much as I want, but come on, man, winning 13-6 and 18-10, they're getting by right now. If they start to trend up, I'll switch it to contender. But as of right now, man, they still have a lot to figure out offensively. And hopefully they do it sometime this season, because it would be a shame to waste what a great defensive effort it looks like the team's going to have this season.
All right, Alec.
Yeah, I know it's my favorite team as well, alongside TJ. But even if we're 2-0, pretender. The types of wins what you pulled off, very ugly. Especially given that we beat an inconsistent Atlanta team and a Broncos team that's still trying to find its identity. George Pickens had over 100 receiving yards wiped off by penalty. More often than not, we've kicked 50-plus yard field goals than we had touchdowns thus far. 8 field goals, 1 touchdown on our scoring drives against 11 punts. Given the opponents, I don't expect much from us, and the defense can only do so much and we're having an elite defense year in, year out, every which way. It's not going to mean a lot in today's game, because today offense wins championships. The days of old, defense wins championships. It's nice, but sometimes you have to realize that over time the NFL adjusts and evolves over time. Mike Tomlin may know how to find a way, but if you have elite defensive play and don't pair that with solid offensive play, you're not going to get a lot done. That could change if Justin Fields develops on track, but we don't know.
Fair enough. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are joined by Mr. Beantown Breakdown himself, Bobby.
What's up, man? Yeah.
Bobby,
what up?
The question that we're going over now is real simple. Pittsburgh Steelers, contenders or pretenders?
Could
They're
I
2-0,
say in
folks.
between? Because I don't think they're
Yeah.
I don't think they're pretenders, but I don't think they're a contender.
There got to be one or the other.
Yeah.
There's no middle ground. You're either
Nah,
a
I'm with-
contender or you're a
He's being
pretender.
nicer
sir.
than the actual Steelers
I
fans.
don't think, but they're not a pretender team, because they always end up close to 500 or
That's-
over or right
That's
at
not
that.
going to get you in the playoffs. That's not going to get you a championship, though.
Hey,
So,
Mike
they're a
Tomlin.
contender.
But pretender teams are like 5-win teams that start off 2-0, 3-0, and they end up with like 6 wins in a year.
Well, I guess
So
we're
we're
basing it
gonna
off the
just
first
get
2
Bobby
weeks
to this
right now.
He's going to probably do this. So, who you guys say?
So
I was gonna
I would-
say,
I'm gonna say somewhere in that purgatory realm.
yeah.
We don't have a purgatory realm, so he's just standing basically, y'all. There's no purgatory. Go
See,
Sid.
come back in like 3 weeks, and then and they're right there. I can see what
Yeah,
Bobby's
I'll give you
Right
a better diagnosis of where they're at in about a month.
Yeah, exactly. So come back and we'll see. But at the same time, I'm gonna say pretender. like these Steelers fans, like you guys see it, because look at their division, right? We're going to talk about it here in a little bit, not too long from now, but we're still waiting for these sleeping giants to wake up. So as soon as they wake up, this mediocre offense that the Steelers are putting out is not going to get them far. It's not going to get them anywhere. But at the same time, I always have faith in Mike Tomlin, to be completely honest with you. If there's a will, he's going to find a way.
No, I 100% agree, because Tomlin has had some really bad teams and still got them to 500.
Right,
or even the playoffs, for that matter.
Like as much as
for the sake of pretenders,
a lot of people criticize him because he pretty much stays in that 500 range and right around the playoff bubble team, and it's like a lot of people criticize him, but he does do a pretty damn good job with at some points mediocre talent at the highest. Like the offense is what the Pittsburgh defense is obviously gonna carry them this year. Obviously, that's good. If their offense can just I don't know, if they can score 24, 28, 24 points a game, they'll probably be in every game they're in.
All right, so
they've only scored one touchdown this season.
I'm going to agree with the Steelers fans and say that they're pretenders. So far, they haven't shown anything that they're a contender. And then we're going to go next with the 2-0 Houston Texans. Bobby, we'll start with you. Contenders or pretenders, or are you abstaining from them?
Contender. Well? I believe in C.J. Stroud.
Woo!
Contender. I believe in C.J. Stroud. I believe in that coaching staff. I think DeMeco Ryans has got those boys over there playing hard and pulling in the same direction. I think the one thing that's ultimately going to cost them in a high-end game is the back end of their defense. Their corners and safeties are, I think, what's going to end up getting them in the end. But I would say contender. I mean, I think they're going to end up pretty similar to what they had last year until they get a better defense. Once they get a better defense, they're going to really start making noise. I think they're going to surprise some people. But they're right on the cusp, man. They're right on that bubble of being a really, really good team.
Shit.
All right, yeah. So I'm going to say contender for the opposite reason of the Steelers, right? We're going to talk about the same thing with this a little bit later. The other teams in their division, not sleeping giants, so to speak. You know what I mean? More like I don't even know what they would be, but they're asleep, and I don't think they're gonna wake up. So I see Houston. Like Bobby said, that coaching staff. It's a perfect mesh of everything working together right now in Houston, and they're really clicking on all cylinders with a youth movement. And I'm just excited to watch them play. I got Houston as contender.
CJ Stroud is the truth too. I bet people are kicking themselves right now for not taking him. The teams that passed on him.
Only one team passed on him, sir.
He didn't write him back.
Or no, because there was 3 or 4 teams that were in play for him that could have moved up to get him, and they should have. That kid is the truth.
TJ, who you got?
True.
I have a contender. I just believe in everything they're doing down there, and also they're also profiting off of circumstance and being in one of the easier divisions as well. So the path to a division championship is pretty simplistic if they just continue to roll. And I love C.J. Stroud, DeMeco Ryans, all that. They're definitely contenders.
And Alec?
100% a contender. They can win in any which way. Offensively, which is week 1. And last week, it was more of a defensive victory. Not just C.J. Stroud, though. Nico Collins is establishing himself as wide receiver 1. Stephon Diggs is getting used to the environment, and he's not adjusting nicely. Joe Mixon looks like an efficient running back again.
He's hurt.
Defensively, everyone chimed in on their role in making Caleb Williams uncomfortable. Will Anderson, Derek Stingley, Daniil Hunter, Azeez O'Shire, Foley Fatukasi, rookie Kamari Lassiter, and the underrated Henry To'oTo'o. They're all having their fair share of involvement in key plays. Pairing that with excellent coaching at DeMeco Ryans will bring excellent results. The one knock that I have on the Texans is penalties, but they should deal with that over the coming weeks and have that one ready. They'll be more disciplined, more prepared as the season goes along. If they get key wins against key opponents like Buffalo, Kansas City, against the top dogs, they'll be a force to be reckoned with.
I'll go contender as well. We've already kind of touched on all the reasons why. All right, so Chargers 2-0 in the AFC West. Contenders or pretenders? We'll go back to you.
So the Chargers, they're an interesting team. They've allowed 13 points through 2 games and ran the ball 3 times for every 2 passes attempted. So that's on one part. Yeah, they faced the Raiders and the Panthers. It may have done a little something to do with that, but this is a team with structure under Jim Harbaugh. Under Jim Harbaugh teams, the common denominator here, run-heavy offenses. We've seen that in San Francisco with Frank Gore. We've seen that with Michigan with Blake Corum and Donovan Edwards. Now we're seeing it once again with the Chargers with Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins. So I'm going to take it easy with the Chargers, and though I'm going to be more cautious rather with them. They are a contender, but in a different type of way. I see them as playoff contenders. If we're talking playoff contenders, I'll put them at that. Super Bowl, just wait a bit. Just wait a bit for that, because I'm not ready to put the Chargers at Super Bowl.
Yeah, just so we're clear, we are talking about playoff, contenders at this point, because
Chargers
the Chargers are going
to get tickets to the Super Bowl.
The Chargers are going to Charger.
Exactly.
I have no faith in them until they prove me wrong. None. Pretender 1,000,000%.
100 billion million jillion %.
No, they're one of those
Do you
teams.
agree with these guys?
They're one of those. They're one of those teams.
I say pretender.
Yeah, I say pretender as well. Because I mean, until we get more to prove what they can do through the passing game with this lack of wide receivers or perceived wide receiver depth, because I haven't seen it yet, right?
They are putting so much pressure on Justin Herbert to do everything, and you can't. He's one of those quarterbacks. You can't do that.
He may not play today, so we'll see.
True.
It's still questionable pretty much up until game time. So he didn't
practice.
It wouldn't surprise me if they end up in 3rd place in that division. I have no
last place behind the Broncos. You better put some respect on our names.
All right, so now we're moving on. That's it. That's where we got to cut it. 2-0. Are they pretenders or contenders? Contenders. Come on, they got the rest on their side. Stop it.
Wait.
I hate the Chiefs.
Dude, as much as I can't stand them, they're contenders. They're always contenders. As long as you have Patrick Mahomes in the mix, they're a contender.
15 beats 12 a lot of weeks.
Well, yeah, Chiefs and the Texans kind of got the same thing right now, right? Where they're hurting in their running back room. So it's going to be interesting to see how they both go from there. But I think the Texans are in a better position, Chiefs, they're starting Carson Still. Who's Carson Still? I don't know. But at the same time, Pat Mahomes has the Tom Brady effect. It doesn't matter who's on the field with them, right?
He makes anybody on the field better.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. And they are playing Atlanta for some reason. I don't know. It's just feeling like maybe Atlanta has some luck on their side right now. So it'll be interesting to see how this game goes because they do have a running game. Huh?
I bet Atlanta covers the spread.
They do have a running game, so it's gonna be fun to see how it goes.
They do. TJ.
As long as you have Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid on the team, they got to be contenders. It's already been touched upon. It just seems whenever some doubts going in on their side and a big moment happens and they don't get the playoff, you see some yellow on the field. So
those real.
Or you see
So,
flags being
until
kind of held.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when you play the
Yep.
Chiefs, you play the officials and the Chiefs.
and until something changes, you got to assume it's going to stay the same. So they're contenders for me.
Fair enough, Alec.
Well, that was a curveball. Well,
Woo!
do I have to explain it? Contenders. I don't think
Why?
any explanation is necessary.
You want
Because-
to know when we're going to see how good Pat Mahomes really is? When Travis Kelce retires and he doesn't have him as a weapon. That's when we're going to see how good
I
that
thought he
team
was
really
gonna
is.
Well, I mean, we're not
Patriots.
seeing a whole lot of Kelsey usage right now. So, I mean, it's not like he's like
Yeah, we don't
He's too
see
busy with
Kelsey a
Taylor Swift.
lot right now in these first 2 weeks, and Mahomes is still going nicely, especially week 1.
Yeah, we haven't seen Kelsey at all. He wasn't at all week 1. What, he had like one catch?
Somebody put an interesting stat up. I forget where it was. It might have been on CBS. It was through 2 weeks, Kelsey is the 22nd ranked tight end in the league for yardage,
Mhm.
which I mean that's wild.
He has like
I
40
think he
yards
had-
through 2 weeks.
Yeah, 49 yards, right?
Mhm.
49 yards.
Yeah,
in 2
Kelsey
weeks.
is on the back end of his career as well. We can also note that. But 49 yards, still feels weird for someone who's an
and
consistently elite tight end.
can we just? I mean, we can't forget the Taylor Swift effect too, right? If Taylor wants him to retire, what are you gonna say? You gonna say no?
Swift. Travis Swift.
All right, so we're getting a little off the top here, guys. So let's really back
All right,
in.
let's get back. Yeah, my bad. Let's get back
2-0 NFC North Vikings. Contenders or pretenders? I'm going to say pretenders.
Pretender.
Yeah.
Pretender.
Pretender.
Sam Darnold, I love you, but pretender. Come on.
I mean, well, the Vikings' 2-0 story is nice, but until anything else changes, they're a pretender. Yeah, I know they beat the Niners, but and this was a coaching gem for Brian Flores against the Niners. But until then, they have to show this on a more consistent basis. Otherwise, they're going to be on that pretender status, and as of right now, they're on that spot.
All right, and then Saints 2-0. Contenders or pretenders? I'm going to start this one off. Pretenders.
Whoa. What'd you say?
No
Contenders?
Tennessee today.
What'd you say?
He said pretender.
Pretenders. You need me to break it down more for you?
Yeah. Why?
Okay. Why are they pretenders? Who have they beaten?
The
They beat
Cowboys.
the worst team in the NFL, and they beat the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde team of the NFL.
So what if they win
Dallas comes
today?
out one week and looks like
Then what does
world
that
beaters.
mean?
They come out the next week and look like a team that could be the Panthers 2.0. Last week, they looked like the Panthers 2.0. They didn't play defense.
Yeah.
Dak was throwing interceptions left and right. The only person that could do anything offensively was the tight end that got hurt. His backup did decent. And then, of course, CD. No one else was really contributing on the offensive side of the ball. So you tell me that's a team that's an impressive win. Like, honestly, look
That's
me in
because
the eye.
the
As
pass
a
rush is
football
getting
fan, and say,
depressing out there
that's
all
an
day.
impressive win. with
Well,
that
they have
team.
a challenge today, then I guess, right? We'll see. We'll see today,
So-
right?
Right now, to me, they are pretenders.
Who's their opponent today? Who they play today?
They play the Philadelphia Eagles.
Oh, yeah. Let's
Yes,
see how
they
they
do.
do against. Let's see how they do against the Eagles. Then we'll talk.
Are they ever
Man.
going to face a good team? I mean, come on.
You
Just
want to
playing.
you want to know when I'll believe in them? When they're through week 9 and they're 6-3.
Oh, he said
7-2.
that about any team, though. But we're talking about through 2 weeks right now, though.
Right.
So
I'm
who
just
are we
saying-
believing in?
I'm just saying.
Cool.
I-
I'm gonna let you change your answer. I'm gonna give you a second chance to change that answer. So what'd you say? Contender?
P-R-E-T-E-N-D-E-R-S. You can make it all capitals if you like.
Oh,
I'm
not
getting
the
clearer than that.
spelling.
I'm with cool. All capital letters.
I say I don't even know which one it is now. Which one's the good one? I'm gonna say contender. The Saints have 91 points through 2 weeks. I don't care who you play. There's
Are you
other
okay
teams
with
that play bad teams too, and they don't have
Fair
these
enough.
points through 2 weeks. Alvin Kamara has 5
You put up 40
touchdowns.
some against the worst
Derek
team in the
Carr-
league. It hurts your average.
Isn't Derek Carr like number 1 in QBR right now?
I mean, he's
I
played
think
the
he-
Dallas
That's
defense.
weird to
Doesn't
see.
impress
I think he's in the top. I think he's in the top 3.
He's in the top 3, whatever. Like,
Yeah.
man, Raheed Shaheed and Derek Carr look like they've been playing together for 20 years. I mean, I don't know, and I'm not saying today's going to be any different either because the Eagles do have some issues, right now on their defensive side. So it's not like they're going against, a 100% healthy Eagles unit either. But at the same time, I mean, I guess this will be the test. This is where we'll see. I mean.
But good teams take advantage of when bad teams are injured,
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. They're 91 points through 2 weeks. That's them taking advantage of their situations. It doesn't matter who they played. They took advantage of it, and they went out there and won, and they won in a convincing fashion.
Yeah, 100%.
If they play well against the Eagles and they put up 28 points, that'll be impressive to me.
Then we're like, okay, yeah, let's go.
TJ?
I'm going to say pretender for now, just because it's only 2-0. I joked earlier about the Eagles, but truthfully, I mean, depending on how they play against the Eagles, that could change my mind today. But until it's you got to go a little bit longer because 91 points is awesome. But how many times have we seen teams kind of do that in different stretches, and then the bottom falls out? So I got to see a little bit more of a track record earned before I put them into that contender status.
All right, Alex.
I feel they're kind of in the in-between spots, if that even exists for this moment. As of right now, I'm going to take it slow. Yeah, as of now, I'm going to take it slow with the Saints. Even though they put up 40 back-to-back 40 burgers on the Panthers and the Cowboys, I know it's easy to dismiss the Panthers. The Cowboys one is an eye-opener, given the Cowboys' reputation on defense. Al Harris as the DB's coach and that pass rush, though I don't really trust Mike Zimmer to be their defensive coordinator in all fairness. So I'm taking it slow, but I'll put this on an interesting way. Pretender trending towards contender.
Woo!
How's about that?
I'll take it.
If that's how you want to swing it, man. It's your opinion.
Alvin Kamara does so far.
They're 2-0 as well. Are the Buccaneers contenders or pretenders?
Hey, come on, hey, that's my coffee. Fuck off, cat.
I'm going to say contender. I love Baker Mayfield. He's got a chip on his shoulder. And, I mean, the man led the Browns to the playoffs in the earlier part of his career, and they got dumped. So he's got a chip on his shoulder. They are definitely a contender.
Alex?
A Baker Mayfield that's looking for revenge is the best edition of Baker Mayfield that's out there on the football field. That said, the team is not just him. You also have to account for Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, who have been on fire as a duo, especially Godwin against the Lions. Defensively, they're up and down, but they did get 2 picks off of Jared Goff. Yes, Baker took 5 sacks from Aiden Hutchinson, but Tampa Bay defensively, they bent, but they didn't break one bit against Detroit. And when you don't break, that may be what you need. Tampa's in that contender spot.
Contenders. Bobby?
Contender.
Sid? Bayless?
Yo, I like the Bucs, though. I feel it. I feel like Baker Mayfield is the quarterback this team needed right now with their type of energy, their type of vibe. Everything's matching. And then they just went and knocked off the Lions, right? You know what I'm saying? They just did what we expected the Lions to be doing. So, I mean, oh, man, they've had a connection. Godwin's been going off. Even Evans is going off early. Usually you see Evans start to lock in later in the season.
Dude, Baker has rejuvenated that wide receiver core, man. They look young. They look.
Yep.
Mike
Baker
Evans
Jackson.
Mike
like
Evans
Lamar.
Mike Evans looks like he's the Mike Evans of like 6 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Speaking of youth, Trey Palmer and Jalen McMillan.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And people forget how good of a draft. People forget how good of a draft the Bucs had. The Buccaneers had a really good draft.
Mm-hmm.
Especially
when
gotta move on. Seahawks 2-0 contender pretender.
Seahawks pretenders. Well,
You just saying that because they're in their division.
Well, I was going to say because of their division, they might be contenders. Honestly, with all those injuries over there right now. I mean, San Francisco is doing the unexpected, but Seahawks, you know.
But San Fran's banged up. I think Seattle can take advantage of that.
That's what I mean.
So you got them as contender or pretender, Bobby?
Oof.
I'm gonna say contender right now. I think they're gonna be in the mix. Gonna be in the mix for a while.
I'm gonna say contender too, because even though Kenneth Walker's been out a couple of weeks, Charbonnet's played well, and if he's out for a long period of time, which he normally is when he's hurt, Charbonnet could definitely step in. So I'm gonna say contender for now because everybody else looks shaky. Alec?
Oh, this one's tough. I know for all the talent that they have in the world, DK Metcalf, Jackson Smith, and Jake Buck, Kenneth Walker, who is hurt. And also on the other side of the ball, Devon Witherspoon, Tariq Woolen, Boye Maffei, they have everything at their disposal. Geno Smith having a nice revival with Seattle under both Pete Carroll and Mike McDonald. Just weird to see that team being coached, the Seahawks team not being coached by Pete Carroll anymore, but either way, yeah, I know that the Seahawks aren't in a contention spot as of right now, but given the way they play games, it's more of a cardiac nature for them. Feel like they're a contender that plays like a pretender. I don't get the Seahawks. They're just too confusing for me.
All right, TJ?
It's borderline, but I'm going to say contender just because they have the depth, they have the next man up mentality, and right now it's cooking for them. And plus, I like Geno Smith. So
What a
right.
friggin' revival he's having, huh? Holy crap, man!
Yeah.
People wrote him off
So
for dead.
Yep, but he didn't write back. So
right
the
back.
thing is, so guys, we're gonna start next, and Bobby will start with you. Pick a team that needs to find a way to triumph in the face of adversity, injury, bad draft picks, whatever you want to consider adversity for this team. Pick a team who needs to find a way to triumph in the face of that as of week 3.
I'm gonna say the Giants.
Ooh, that kick in.
They there's no way they should be this bad. There's no way. They do have some talent there, but they are not bottom 3 team in the league. There's enough talent for them to compete there.
I thought you were a Patriots fan.
They are playing god awful right now. Like, I don't know. They look unmotivated. There's good pieces there. Kayvon Thibodeau is a good piece. Like, they have some decent talent on that team. But God, man, they have got to get it together and do figure something out, because that team
look good.
That team should not be that bad.
I'm gonna go with the San Francisco 49ers. You've got some injuries here. You've got CMC, who I hate you, NFL.com, for starting to draft 30 minutes earlier and then auto picking Christian McCaffrey for me. I know it's not your fault. You're just a system, but he's out. Debo is not playing today either.
Nope.
So we've got some major weapons that are out. Got some issues.
No Kittle either.
As well. So
wait, Kittle's not playing either?
No, Kittle's not playing either. I was going to get there, but thank you, Seb. But
oh, my bad.
Yeah, it is. But yeah, so they got some major pieces out. And I was going to say, including, they're all world tight end Kittle, their blocker and passer. They're kind of hard of the team. So, but he'll be there. Maybe he can motivate him from the side. But I just feel like this is a team that has lofty expectations. And right now, with the injuries that they have, they got to find a way to stay above water and stay near the top of that division until they can get injury-free again. Sid, why don't we let you go ahead and give yours, sir?
Yeah, man. So many teams, so many injuries. I mean, I guess I could say, I want to see what the Chiefs do with their running game. Because, I mean, realistically, you do need a running game. You do need some running backs, and they have far from starting running backs starting. So, it's going to be interesting to see how it goes. I expect to see Samaje catching passes out of the backfield and handling, the third down duties, the big blocking duties. But it's going to be interesting to see what Carson Steele does. I think they're going to try to lean on him, and they feel really high on him. I mean, they brought him in, and I've been kind of seeing him throughout the all season. So it's going to be. I think I want to see how that plays out for them because their receiving game is starting to click in away from Kelsey. So, and I think that was due to Pacheco really going off. So we'll see how it goes.
Didn't the Chiefs just re-sign Kareem Hunt too?
Yeah, they got Kareem Hunt in their practice squad, but I mean, he's pretty much like the same player as Samaje. So it'll be interesting to see. I think that's just really more so a handcuff in case one of these other running backs get hurt, you know. But they do have Kareem Hunt there, and I don't think he's going to come in right away, though.
Kareem Hunt would be the second best running back on the Philadelphia Eagles right now. TJ, who's your team?
I'd have to say the Miami Dolphins. You know, this season is really supposed to be like that year that they stepped up. They got past that. You know, they've been getting in the playoffs now get a win, maybe get a run going. And the whole bottom fell out with the whole Tua situation. You know, McDaniels, he's a great head coach. I feel like that they have a really good shot to still right the ship, but they're definitely facing, you know, a lot of negativity around them. So let's see how strong the team is. And if they can continue to win without Tua, you know, who knows how long he's going to be out for.
Okay. Alex?
All right. So for this one, this isn't by means of injuries, but by means of how they started off slow. And that means, and slow meaning that in which they have looked very off in comparison to their preseason expectations. The Baltimore Ravens. Naturally, you'll think that an 0-2 team would be a playoff contending team, right? Well, offensive line has been a huge concern for them, especially on the right side. Daniel Faalele is playing out of position, and Patrick McCarry hasn't done any better at right tackle. Where's Roger Rosengard? You got to start him at right tackle. Plus, you got to get Ben Cleveland more reps at right guard. And plus, run the ball more with Derrick Henry. Shift some offensive line protections to the stronger side on such cases. Defensively, while they are one of the league's best against the run, they're one of the league's worst against the pass through 2 weeks. And this may be attributed to the defensive play calling by Zach Orr, who's a rookie defensive coordinator. But since last season, their quarter-by-quarter point margin goes like this. First quarter, plus 62. Second quarter, plus 80. Third quarter, plus 52. But in the fourth quarter, minus 4. Going on soft zone late in games and going back on prevent defense is not the way that you win games. That's basically playing to not lose instead of playing to win. You may be biting on your own mistakes with aggressiveness, but it's never a bad idea to stay with the same defensive calls that got you to your success in the first 3 quarters. And it's some of those big miscues from John Harbaugh and company have cost the Ravens time and time again. I'm a fan of a division rival, and this is frustrating enough.
All right, so we do have to discuss. There was a game on Thursday night.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, game. The Patriots
I heard that.
went to New Jersey, and I'm sorry, my boy Bobby, but I have to be honest with this take. And if any of you guys have watched professional wrestling, last probably year or so, NXT, there's a guy named Trick Williams. And he has this song that goes, "Whoop That Trick." I feel like the Jets were bringing that all the way, on the field and on the sideline playing the Patriots this past week. But luckily, my guy Bobby already knew that his team was not going to be a really good team this year. So I don't think he's as hurt as he would have been if he was under a false pretense. But since you're the Patriots guy here, Bobby, we'll start with you. Just any thoughts you have on the game?
The Jets just wanted it more, man. Plain and simple. They came in, they played better. They took advantage. I mean, the Patriots' offensive line was pretty much none of them were healthy. David Andrews was the only starter that was playing for them, but even he was banged up. He got some sort of hip injury during the week for the leading up to the game. They wouldn't say what it is, but from the beat writers and what people were talking about, they said it's a hip pointer, and those take forever to heal. And if he's trying to play through a hip pointer, he's nowhere near 100%, and he won't be for a month. But the Pats offensive line was awful. They allowed 7 sacks and I think 28 QB hits and hurries. So Brissett. You guys, did you watch? If you watch, Brissett was running for his life every time he dropped back. He had no time at all to throw the football, and that's pretty much what it's going to be for the Bengals game was a fluke. It was an anomaly. What you've seen from the Patriots the last 2 weeks is more realistic of what they're going to be this season. They don't have the talent to compete, with a lot of the teams in the NFL. They're going to struggle, man. This is going to be a long season. I think I pegged them. From the very start of this year, I pegged them from 3 to 5 wins, and they're not gonna do. As soon as Bill Belichick left, the team automatically got worse because you don't have Bill Belichick's innate ability to make chicken salad out of chicken shit was incredible. But you don't even have that anymore. You have an entire rookie coaching staff. Everybody in that staff is coaching for the first time ever. Offensive coordinator, except for the offensive coordinator. Scott Van Pelt came from the Steelers. So he's the only one that's actually been in the same position. Everybody else is brand new. The offensive line is third string players on any other team in the league. They are going to struggle through the year. This game didn't surprise me at all. Their linebacking core, they got eaten up in the middle of the field the whole game, which their linebacking core is old and aging out, and their defensive line is young and inexperienced, and so are their corners. Aaron Rodgers killed them. He picked them apart. He did exactly what I thought he was going to do. It's my expectations for this year for them are, like I said to you, Cool, very low. I will be happy if they can compete in every game. Not just don't get blown out and don't make me leave my stadium at halftime. That's all I'm going to ask out of them. I'll be happy with that. But they're going to struggle, man. And Drake May isn't ready. I could talk for an hour. Drake, they know that if Jacoby Brissett has to throw the football 35 times, he's going to throw 4 picks. So they can't do that. They can't let Jacoby Brissett throw the football, 25, 30 times, because he's under pressure and he's going to throw 4 picks. So what do they have to do? They have to run it. Even if they run it into a brick wall, they still have to run it. So and Ramondre Stevenson rolled his ankle and he's gimpy. So now they're on Antonio Gibson and they're on Antonio Gibson, and I think they're talking about bringing up a kid from the practice. Yeah, they're going to struggle through this year, dude. Like I said, 3 to 5 wins is my expectation. They might not even beat the Cardinals. They're going to struggle, man. It's going to be another tough year for them. But that's my diagnosis. They don't do a lot of stuff well at all.
All right. So does anyone else want to give any thoughts on the Patriots-Jets game?
Man, we saw some vintage Rodgers, right? But much like Bobby said, the past 2 weeks of the Patriots is what we can expect from the Patriots. I feel like the past 2 weeks of the Jets is what we can kind of expect to see from the Jets. This last game against the Patriots, we're allowed to see the defense do what the defense is there to do. You know what I mean? They didn't have to go out and be heroes and win the game. They were just able to get to the quarterback and wreak havoc, so to speak, because the offense was rolling. Aaron Rodgers was rolling out. looking like I don't know if Aaron Rodgers can keep it up. I just turned 40 not too long ago, and I can barely walk sometimes. But I don't work out every day, and I'm not doing mushrooms all the time. So, but I don't know how long, if we can see that from Aaron Rodgers every game. But if we can see that from Aaron Rodgers in the important games, man, the Jets almost made the playoffs without him, with Zach Wilson. That's all I'm saying.
And you want to know what's wild about that game? The Jets blitzed 5 times all game. That's it. 5. They were getting home with their front. They didn't need to blitz to beat them.
Mm-mm. Yeah.
Anybody else?
The Jets, for that matter, they looked potent against the Patriots with Aaron Rodgers leading the charge. What we saw was Rodgers turning back the clock like it's his vintage Packers days, the years in which he's won MVP. We don't know if this version of Rodgers is going to show up against the better teams in the NFL, but this was good for the Jets on a good start. Though one thing that could help them defensively is if Hassan Reddick ends his holdout, because we don't know how long that's going to go. It's been 3 weeks into the season. He's been a no-show on the team. Either have him sign the contract or trade him to a team that's contending for a spot, because this is ridiculous.
Man, the Jets play my Broncos next week. Oh man. Hopefully they don't look this good continuing. Hopefully they just suck continuing out. That's all I'm gonna say.
You'll be crying about that every week.
Me being a Jets hater, yeah, I hope so.
Oh. All right, so guys, we'll move on here. Unless TJ, you have anything you want to add?
I'm just happy the Patriots suck now as a Steelers fan. That's all.
I'm happy the Patriots suck as well.
I bet 2004 still hurts, TJ.
If you guys didn't cheat and steal our playbook, I mean, what the
hell? Pretty much.
Oh, man.
I will take all 6 of my tainted rings every day that ends in Y. Thank you very much.
You should. That's what.
Because that's all you're gonna get ever. You're not getting any more.
I will polish them bitches up and put them up and show them proudly.
Stop! Right, you're traumatizing Falcons fans.
We're gonna do the NFL picks, guys. Just to explain the breakdown. Everybody may be watching first time. We're gonna highlight 3 or 4 games. We'll kind of break it down a little bit. The other games, we're just gonna make a pick and keep it moving. All right, so the highlight games. The first one is going to be the Eagles at the Saints. So I'm going to start with TJ here. TJ, give us your thoughts on this game and who's going to win.
I think it's really going to come down to which offense, performs well. The Eagles have been a little up and down. They've been stagnant in the second half. Especially in the fourth quarter, it seems like they kind of just sit back and play with their food a little bit too much. It came back to bite them last week. It's like I said before, I don't know if the Saints are legit or not, but I have to go with the Saints just because of the offensive firepower they've shown the first 2 weeks of the season.
Fair enough. Bobby, who you got?
The Eagles have to stop the run. If they can stop the run and they can make Kamara, come falling back down to earth, then they should win that game. They have enough on the back end of that defense to at least slow Derek Carr and company down, and I think that'll give them a chance. But the Saints, on the other hand, they're actually playing a defense now. The Eagles front has been pretty good. So we're going to see how good that offensive line really is of New Orleans. Let's see if they can push around. Let's see if they can push around the Eagles front 7 like they've been doing the last 2 weeks. I think the Eagles are going to win this game probably by 10 points. But it's going to be a scrappy game. I think the Eagles got to control the run too. They have to run the ball. Eagles have to run the football. And they have to run it efficiently. And don't stray away from it. Don't stray away from it either. like the Eagles have run the football in games, and they've run it well in the first half, and then they for Nicky Tight Pants for some reason gets in his feelings and he goes away from it, and it hurts him. So if they're running the football well, stick with it. Run the football 35 times this game if you have to. Just run the clock out on the Saints. Don't let that offensive firepower of New Orleans get on the field. I think whoever runs the ball well is going to win this one.
So who's that?
I'm going with the Eagles. Eagles by 10.
Ooh.
All right, Alec. Who you got?
On one end, you have the Saints scoring 91 points through 2 games, 44 against the Cowboys. On the other, the Eagles, they have one of the worst defenses in a number of statistical categories: yards allowed per rush, pressure percentage, and yards per play allowed. Vic Fangio needs to figure this out, and this is a good opportunity to do so. But remember that the Saints, they have an offensive coordinator that came from the Kyle Shanahan system. And so far for 2 games, things are clicking for Clint Kubiak. Taking advantage of passing efficiency against a very suspect Eagles defense that has trouble pressuring the quarterback is going to be key for New Orleans. However, the Saints, they've also struggled with opposing mobile quarterbacks, which was something they had dealt with last season. Doesn't matter if it was Cameron Jordan, Carl Granderson, or even their front 7, which includes Pete Warner, DeMario Davis. That could change though. And the Saints, they can start clicking with the usage of Alvin Kamara, which is going to be key. He's looked great through 2 weeks, especially last week when he had 4 touchdowns. Timely deep balls from Derek Carr to Rashid Shaheed is going to work as well for them. It's going to be tighter for New Orleans this time around. It feels like this is a snap back to reality type of game. But whoever has the ball last is going to win this game. And I think if the Saints have the ball last, going up against that Eagles defense, they are going to win, which I see it happening.
So Saints?
Yeah, Saints.
Woo!
All right, Sid.
Yeah, man.
Mr. Bayless, go ahead.
No, man, these are 2 good teams, especially being, Saints are 13th in passing yards. The Eagles are 12th in passing yards a game. Saints are 1st in points a game. The Eagles are 6th in points a game. But the Saints are 4th in points allowed, whereas the Eagles are 25th in points allowed. The Eagles are having a little bit of trouble getting to the quarterback this season. They're dead last in quarterback pressure. And then you got, some CJ Gardner-Johnson is questionable. They have quite a bit of injuries in their, well, not quite a bit of injuries, but a couple injuries in their back end. I just feel like they need to get to the quarterback. You need to get to Derek Carr. For some reason, nobody's been able to get to Derek Carr because they're trying to focus in on this running game. So if they're able to maybe amp up some pressure and get up in there, yeah, they could do something. But other than that, I see the Saints winning this game. Especially, and then I want to say, too, another thing I did write down, I have here, too, The Saints' leading receiver is still A.J. Brown. He missed the whole game.
Correction, Eagles leading receiver.
Or Eagles, sorry.
Yeah, Eagles.
Yeah.
Eagles.
Yeah, you're
Either way, I want to believe the Eagles is just
real quick. What's AJ Brown's deal? What's his? Is he?
hamstring.
What's his
I'll
deal?
cover that. I'm gonna go over all that. So
Yeah.
Philadelphia Eagles. I'm picking, of course. Packers beat the Packers 35-29. We allowed 29 points. We won the game. We lost to the Falcons 22-21. So in both of these games, we've had 21 points or more. We've given up 50 points, not 80-some points, like the teams that the Saints have played. So we've had everyone on here has talked about, the Eagles aren't good at this. They're this statistical this and this statistical that. But both of the games that we were in, we should have won. Right? We lost to the Falcons. It is what it is. I consider it bad coaching. You have one of the top 5 running backs, I'd probably say 3 in the league, and you decide to throw it to him instead of hand it off to him 2 times in a row when you have a play that works on everybody, which is called the brotherly shove or the tush push. And in that game, they were getting 4 to 5 yards every time they used it. But instead, on 3rd down, you want to get cute and throw the ball to Saquon. I don't blame a running back for dropping the ball. He's a running back. If he could catch the ball every time, he would be a wide receiver, not a running back. So play calling has to be called into question for that specific play, as well as in the first half, giving away 3 points. So you look at those things, we could be 2-0. We could be 0-2 just as well, right? Could be 0-2. Could have worked either way. But here's the things that are important to me about this specific matchup. AJ Brown is not going to be here. We understand AJ Brown is a top 5 receiver. And if you don't think AJ Brown's a top 5 receiver, stop watching football and find another sport to watch. Without him, you're taking Devontae Smith and you're trying to get him to do what AJ Brown does. Another poor coaching decision. He's not AJ Brown. He doesn't have that body type. So why not take a guy like a Jahan Dotson, right, or Johnny Wilson, and let them start and be in that spot where AJ Brown would be, and allow Devontae Smith to do what he does best, and let's move around. Play in the slot some, play the X some, play the Y some, go 4 wide receivers. Have him move around and be in different positions. Don't attempt to ask him to do what AJ Brown does, because physically he's not able to. When you look at the Saints, it's very simple to me. You've played 2 cupcakes and you've got the job done. And people can say, oh, Dallas is not a cupcake. Dallas is blah, 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 blah. When you saw that Dallas team out there playing, that was not a good Dallas team. That was the bad Dallas team that we see. And every year for the past 30 years, we see the Dallas come out and play great in some games and terrible in some games. That was a terrible game. I mean, I'm not saying it to dump on the Cowboys. I'm just being honest. We all know that. Did the Saints have something to do with that? Absolutely. But if you look at what the Eagles are going to do, they're going to hopefully run the ball. They're also going to throw the ball to guys that are open. They're going to scheme better. They didn't find out for sure that AJ wasn't going to play until Friday night, which means they didn't really have time to put a different plan in place, because all you have is a walkthrough on Saturday and play on Sunday. They knew all week he wasn't going to play, so hopefully there's going to be a better plan in place. Also, Quinyon Mitchell has had to play right outside a corner because Isaiah Rodgers broke his hand at the end of training camp and he wasn't able to play. Isaiah Rodgers will be back this week. He will be starting, which means Quinyon Mitchell can go back to nickel, which means the guy that both teams we played abused and treated like he was at a Diddy party, no Diddy, is not going to be playing. That's Maddox. He won't be playing. Or if he does, it'll be at safety where he'll play a different role. I think that the Eagles are going to be better defensively this week. The patchwork is going to be a concern. But I think that's going to be something that's going to be a concern on both sides, because as was eloquated earlier, the Saints don't do well against mobile quarterbacks. And Jalen Hurts showed us last week that he's healthy. He's back to, hey, if I don't see a play, times I'll take off. I think this week he realizes he doesn't have A.J. Brown. He's known all week. They put things in place. Dallas Goedert needs to be more involved in the offense. I like the way Britton Covey played last week. I've been anti-Britton Covey since last season when he did nothing. But he showed me last
take. You took my take, cool. You took my take. I was going to say they need to get Goddard more involved going forward. Like, he needs to be involved.
I was going to say that as an Eagles player. Come on,
for sure.
You took my take. I was going to say that too.
So, long story short,
Goddard is still a very good tight end, and they need to get him more involved.
Dally God.
You just have to look at Goddard in some of these situations where you're throwing balls up and expecting the guy to go get it. He also needs to be involved in the screen game. He's been very successful in that throughout his career. It's just a matter of now you have had the time, so that should be a plan. A plan should be, let's get the ball to Goddard, let's get the ball to Devontae in different positions. Let's stick a guy out there on the wide corner that may not be a top corner, and let's let them force their top corner to play a guy that's probably going to get 3 targets. Why not?
People forget how good of a blocker Goddard is too. He's like, you need to get him involved on like you were saying, wide receiver, split him off into wide receivers screens and let him block for Devontae.
Let him run the ball. I want him to catch it and run. I don't want him to block. I want him to catch it and run. He's the best option in that we have. He's better at that than Devontae Smith because he can take a hit and keep moving.
Truth.
All right. So that's game 1. So Karam says Cowboys can't stop the run. Saints got this one. Clint
The
Kubiak offense.
Cowboys defense is not the same since Dan Quinn left. Plain and
Right.
simple.
The Cowboys
It's not
can't
the
stop the
same.
run. We're not the Cowboys. Everybody keeps saying the Cowboys. I mean, I'm not saying that we were great at stopping the run, but there were times. I mean, we all this talk about last week, and they scored 22 points. They did not score 45 points. They scored 22 points. So this is not going to be a situation where I don't think that Saints are going to come out and have that explosion. And last point, very last point. Alvin Kamara is an advanced age running back. He's not going to come out and dominate like that again. Not back-to-back games. And
Not
if you
against the
believe that-
Eagles front. The front
It's
seven
not.
of the Eagles is not going to allow that.
All right. So the next game that we picked was the Texans at the Vikings. I'm going Texas in this game. I'll go in and go in. We'll just go in order, Alec, and then we'll just swing all the way around. I'm going to go Texans. I think the Vikings have played, above expectation. Justin Jefferson is finally being seen as quote unquote healthy. If it took this long, he's not fully healthy. He just can play. So he may not be able to be as explosive as they want him to be. And they're going to need him to be 150 plus explosive to really have a chance to win this game. I believe Addison's out again. So there goes your number 2 guy out. So I think it's going to be hard for them to win this game. But I think that Sam Darnold has been a surprise. And he may continue to be a surprise, but in a loss today. Alec, on you. And then we'll just swing on around TJ and then Sid and then Bobby.
All right. So the Texans, they're facing a Vikings defense that blitzes at the 6th highest rate in the league. However, CJ Stroud has a passer rating of 117 against the blitz through 2 weeks. Let me repeat that again. CJ Stroud has a passer rating of 117 against the blitz through 2 weeks. I know both defenses, they're at the upper echelon, the upper half of the league. But we also have to take into account one thing. Picture this of a trade in the offseason. The Texans getting Danielle Hunter on a signing, while the Vikings, they signed Jonathan Grenard and Blake Cashman on the other end. However, the big piece that we're mentioning here, Stephon Diggs. This game screams revenge game all around. Not just with Diggs, but the guys that I mentioned in the free agent signings. The previous time around in which Diggs faced the Vikings, he had 12 catches for 128 yards with Buffalo. So that narrative is going to come to full fold. And I would expect Stroud to target Diggs a lot more in comparison to the first 2 weeks. Plus, Will Anderson, he's been thriving in the pass rush. 31% in the pass rush win rate per Pro Football Focus. But this narrative of revenge game is going to be here, up and throughout. And while the Vikings, they have been impressive through 2 weeks, it's the Texans' time to shine.
I'm going to make it real quick and simple. In the previous segment, I called one a pretender and one a serious contender. I'm going Houston all day.
Yeah. Same thing. I mean, I'm going Houston as well. I'll just keep it there. I mean, CJ Stroud's clicking, man. So it's they're rolling right now.
Bobby?
I am going with CJ Stroud and the Texans, and I think it's going to be a blowout. I think it's going to be 38-20.
Ooh, I don't know about that.
I think Minnesota is going to get stomped out in this game.
Did you see what their defense did to San Francisco?
Minnesota is going to get stomped out in this game.
I don't care
I'm gonna
about
write that down.
I don't care about that.
Authority.
Hot take. Minnesota is going to get stomped out in this game.
I'm writing it down. So put all your money on Texans is what Bobby is saying.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
All right, and then our final highlight game. We've got the Baltimore Ravens traveling to Jerry World in Arlington, Texas, to play the Dallas Cowboys of Arlington. We'll go reverse this time, Bobby. We'll start with you. and then we'll swing all the way back around, and I'll go last.
Run the game one more time.
The Baltimore Ravens versus the Dallas Cowboys of Arlington.
Of Arlington?
I think Baltimore gets their first win because truthfully, like you were saying earlier, Cool, they are the Jekyll and Hyde of the NFL, and I think Baltimore gets its first win. I think they start to figure this out. But Seth had said something a while back about like a team having too much talent on it, and it's tough to get get all that talent involved. And I think that's what they're going through now. Like now that Baltimore actually has a running game and a running back that's like, that can actually do what running backs do, they're kind of like, do what? And I think eventually they're going to figure it out. And once they distribute that football between all that talent, it could be scary. Like a balanced Ravens team with Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, like I said, the distribution of the football between the running and passing game, if they could, when they figure that out, it's going to be scary.
Yeah.
I'm going to give Baltimore the advantage in the W this week. I'll take the Ravens.
Yeah, I kind of want to piggyback off what Bobby said about them having too much talent. I mean, look, like now you got Likely going off too. So, I mean, you can't have Likely and Andrews on the field at the same time and both your tight ends going out. Who's going to block for the quarterback? They know that you're throwing. Like, I don't know. Like, it is a lot of players that are really popping off, but that's not a bad problem to have. So, I mean, I feel like Baltimore will lock it in. Lamar Jackson will reel it in. That's why they stuck with him. That's why they're sticking with him. This is really his chance to show his leadership aside from his skill, because there's too much talent around him. He doesn't even need to worry about his skill too much, right? I mean, Baltimore, they're putting out so many yards a game right now, and Dallas. Like Cool said, you know what I mean? Like, we saw the bad Dallas last week. So we're going to see that bad Dallas again this week, because if we see that bad Dallas, we might see a really good Baltimore taking advantage of that. We might see, more Wildcat play. Oh, man, just the things we can see from this team, because Derrick Henry can line up at quarterback too. So, yeah, man, I think I'm going to take Baltimore.
But Seb, like that's a good, like you made a really good, like once they figure this out, Baltimore is going to be fucking scary.
They have so many directions they can go in and so many plays they can like convert. I don't know, like whatever. Like I don't know anything about that. I just know that Baltimore has some athletes on their team right now, and Zay Flowers is looking the part. Like he is looking like he is that number one receiver that they need, aside from the Likely's Andrews combo. Because, like, gosh, man, like if Likely isn't torching you down the field, Andrews is the best possession tight end out there right now. So, I don't know. I feel like last year before, we were like kind of dogging on Baltimore and their running game and stuff, but they got that in check with King Henry. There's no doubt about that. And that's what they needed. It's just, like they just need to lock it in. So I think it's gonna be a good game.
Well, I'm sorry to all the Baltimore Ravens fans out there, but I see the Ravens going 0-3 today. The Cowboys, we've been talking. Hey, they're 1 week they're good, 1 week they're bad. What do they usually do after they lay an absolute goose egg the week before? They come out swinging. Baltimore, in my opinion, they are playing a lot like the Chiefs right now. They are not playing up to their potential. The only difference is the Chiefs are figuring out ways to pull out the win in the end, where the Ravens are figuring out ways to lose in the end. So I'm going to go with the Cowboys.
The Chiefs be making them phone calls to the refs. That's why they're winning.
Well,
We already knew that. Come on.
But, I mean, it's a common denominator. But get this. While the Dallas is 12-2 after a loss since 2021, at the same time, they're also 1-5 against the Ravens all time. That latter record is the worst in their franchise against any single opponent. I mean, 1-5? That's miserable. I know the Cowboys, they are a Jekyll and Hyde type of team. But I feel that the Ravens, they're more Jekyll and Hyde in game. Because for 3 quarters, you get the Jekyll Ravens. In the 4th quarter, given that they have 10 7-plus point leads lost in the last 4 years, that's typically the Hyde Ravens, which they basically hide on defense in the worst possible moments. That's bad, including that loss against the Browns. The Cowboys aren't really a powerhouse by any means between Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb on the offensive side, but Baltimore has the league worst passing defense, which can rear its ugly head. Speaking of which, opposite Marlon Humphrey, that's where they drafted Nate Wiggins in the hopes that he can help take the pressure off of Humphrey. And in such times, that can be beneficial. However, Wiggins is questionable, and if he does play, I think the idea here is that in Zach Orr's defense, that he's going to split time between him and Brandon Stephens on the outside corner. Also, Baltimore found themselves in way too many third and longs against the Raiders. Way too many. The offensive line has issues, especially on the right side, as I mentioned before. But at the same time, there is a way in which they can beat the Cowboys by running the ball. This is what they need to do. They're trying to get themselves into something that they're not. Don't stray away from the identity that made you successful over the years between Gus Edwards, J.K. Dobbins, Alex Collins, rest in peace, Justin Forsett, and Ray Rice. Run the ball here. It's that simple. That's how the Saints beat the Cowboys last week, because they ran the ball with Alvin Kamara. If I'm the Ravens and Todd Monken, run the ball with Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson. That's your identity. That's who you are. And it's this pathway in which the Ravens can and will win today.
All right. I'm going to make things very simple. These are 2 teams that definitely need to win the game, but one team's season could be on the line in week 3. I don't know how exactly they're going to do it by the way they played the first 2 weeks, but Baltimore's got to win this game. So I'm going with Baltimore because it's a must win. Look at 0-3 teams making playoffs, getting deep in the playoffs. Baltimore can't afford that. They've already blew at least one game last week that they should have won, right? And then, of course, the week 1 game. I mean, it's hard to beat the NFL's favorite in prime time. So there's that too. But
I think you're right, Cole. I think you're right, Cole. If they don't win this game, they're with the way their schedule looks, they're cooked.
Yeah, you got to get a win. All right, guys. So now we are going to go to our lightning picks here. So basically, we're just going to be picking who's going to win. So we're going to start 1 p.m. New York Giants and Cleveland Browns.
Yo, real quick, Cole. Yo, who'd you pick?
The last Ravens, game? Sir.
Oh, bet.
Yeah. All right. So we'll start. We'll just go around for all of them. 0-2 Giants, 1-1 Browns. I'm going Browns.
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 Who is it? Who are they playing?
The Giants at Browns.
The Browns.
And even saying the Browns are going to win makes me vomit.
Right. Well, the Giants are having a kicking competition in week 3, so I mean, I don't know. That hurts.
Graham Gano is out. That's why.
But hey, if they get a kicker, honestly, if they're gonna beat anybody, it'll be the Browns.
Then we've got
it would be hilarious if the Giants win, though.
And we've got the Bears at the Colts. Bears 1-1, Colts 0-2. I'm actually going to go Bears in this one.
Colts.
Bears.
Colts. The Bears suck.
Yeah, I'm going Colts too.
Yep. The only reason I'm picking the Bears is they have a better defense than the Colts. Both of the offenses are not very good. All right, Texans 2-0 at Vikings 2-0. I think we've all pretty much. No, we went over that one. We said Texans.
We did that one.
My bad, y'all.
Yeah, we did that
We
one.
did that
my
one.
bad.
Yeah.
Chargers at 2-0 Chargers at 2-0 Steelers. If Herbert plays, I'll go Chargers. If not, I'll go Steelers. I mean, it's all I got. Like, I don't know if the man's gonna play.
Oh, even as a Steeler fan, it's the same logic I'm going with. Chargers if Herbert plays, Steelers if he doesn't.
Steelers all day.
I have no faith in the Chargers, so I'm going to take the Steelers.
I'm gonna go Chargers if he plays, Steelers if he doesn't. It's kind of true.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to win without your starting quarterback, especially against a good defense in the Steelers. All right, so we got the 0-2 Broncos at the 2-0 Buccaneers. Definitely going Buccaneers.
Oh, this was a funny nickname in which I heard the other day when I was doing one of my spaces on Twitter. Tampa Bakerfield Buccaneers.
It's a long
I'm
name.
going with the Bucks. I don't think Denver's going to score a touchdown again either.
Ooh.
Whoa!
First off, Denver's getting touchdowns today, but I got Buccaneers winning.
For seats.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Sid, but this is going to be ugly game.
Well, I mean, Tampa Bay's rolling right now.
Baker's going to be lighting that scoreboard up a lot. A lot.
Yep. Tampa.
That
We still
Tampa
got Pat
scoreboard
Surtain.
number going to be changing a lot.
Yep. Then we've got the Packers at 1-1 at the Titans at 0-2. Will Levis is the Titans quarterback. Second worst team in the NFL with him at quarterback. Maybe the third, but definitely going Packers. No faith in Will Levis.
Well, even though the Titans are listed as favorites, this could be a de facto upset, even though Matt LaFleur knows how to find a way with the Packers offense. But there's a hunch that I have. Titans.
I'm going Pack.
Go, Pack, go.
Packers.
I just want to say, Alec, that hunch might be indigestion.
Huh?
Yeah, you might be the one that's
Hunch I
right.
have.
So we got the 0-2 Panthers versus anybody and going the other team. This week it's the Raiders.
Oh, man. I'm going to go Panthers. For the upset.
I'm going to go with the Panthers losing to the Raiders.
They're starting
Raiders.
they're starting Andy Dalton this week too, y'all.
Yeah, and Andy Dalton, I believe he's undefeated against the Raiders, but I think this ends. The Panthers, in my opinion, they'll be lucky to even win against a college team at this point.
Dude, Clemson could beat Carolina.
Ooh.
Not even lying. Georgia and Clemson could probably beat Carolina.
You saying Clemson over Carolina? I'm writing this down. Who else does Clemson?
Oh, no, Woody's writing that down for, bro. And then we got the 1-1 Dolphins and the 2-0 Seahawks. Gotta go Seahawks. Dolphins' problem mainly is quarterback, and he's not playing this week or probably the next few weeks.
Who are the Dolphins starting at quarterback?
Skylar
It doesn't
Thompson.
matter.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter who they're starting.
He's a jabroni named Hoodoo.
Wait, I got a line from one of the Batman movies. It doesn't matter who we are. What matters is our plan.
Exactly. They still got Tyreek and Waddle and Mostert and A-Chain.
That's all there really is.
I think
Huh?
Mostert is hurt, actually.
I think
Yeah, Mostert's
Mostert
out.
Mostert is hurt. He's not
is
going to.
Mostert out. Let's see.
Yes, he is.
Oh, he is out. Damn.
Yeah.
I know.
As you were. Who are they playing?
Seattle.
The
Oh,
Seahawks.
yeah. The Seahawks. Same, but different. I mean, I'll go with Seattle because they got slightly better quarterback play.
Seattle.
I mean, I know about the cardiac nature, but Seattle gets another win in cardiac fashion.
All right.
I
Then we
mean,
got
this is who they are.
We got the Detroit Lions at the Arizona Cardinals. They're both 1-1. I don't trust the Cardinals. I'm going with the Lions.
Detroit's going to be fine. Bounce back week up against the Cardinals and against that defense, Lions all day.
Yeah, the Cardinals will Cardinals.
Whoa, what? What did you say, TJ?
Campbell's Lions, baby.
Oh, I thought you said Cardinals.
Cardinals will Cardinals.
Oh, no.
Man,
You said Cardinals?
I tell you what, though.
Lions.
I'm going to go Lions, but that connection click between whew. Hey, Kyler Murray's thrown 4 touchdowns, no interceptions past 2 games. And he's played the Bills. So it's not like they played crappy teams. He's played some good defenses. And yeah. But yeah, I'll go Lions. Bobby?
He already said Lions.
Lions. Yep.
No one picked the upset?
There's no
feel
upset.
free to meme us if we're all wrong.
There's no upset. That's why it's nothing to pick. It's called a cupcake. It's like the first 3 weeks of the college football season. Cupcake game. All right. So Ravens, Cowboys, we already picked.
We already done that.
49ers at Rams. Rams are 0-2. Puka's not playing. Cooper Kupp is not playing.
The battle for IR.
So I'm going to go to 49ers, even though they're down some players too, because they happen to be up against a team that has both of their top 2 receivers out.
Debo's out, Kittle's out, Puka's out, Kupp is out. Not to mention the Rams are all banged up on the offensive line, even though they're getting one of their starting tackles back. Plus, Nick Bosa is playing through a rib injury. Charvarius Ward is questionable. It's the injury bowl, everyone.
Injury bowl.
But even so, I feel the Niners are better off in this one.
I'm going to go with the Rams because they need to win today.
That's a fair assessment.
Yeah.
Sid?
I'm going to go with the 49ers because they got more trick plays.
Hey. Bobby, they got more trick plays. I didn't expect that one. Who you got, Bobby?
Oh, am I
Bobby,
missing
who you
something? I think he's talking. We just can't hear him.
Bobby, you're on mute. Or we can't hear you.
All right. So my bad. So I'm gonna go with the Niners. As much as simply because I can't, I have more trust in San Francisco than
Perfect
basically
metaphor for this game.
Yeah, no, I think the coaching is a little better on San Fran. That's all.
Fair enough. All right, Chiefs and Falcons. This is a primetime game. Chiefs are not going to lose in prime time. They have 3 extra players every game. Chiefs.
I mean, no question. Chiefs.
Chiefs.
You know what? This is a primetime game. And Coach Haynes has not lost in primetime since he's been a quarterback of the Falcons. So I'm going to go Atlanta. Atlanta.
Bobby?
I think he said Chiefs as he was getting up.
Okay. All right. We got 2 games on Monday. We got the 0-2 Jags and the 2-0 Bills. The Bills should handle business with this game.
Oh, I get it. I get it with the Bills that they can handle things left and right. Well, part of me feels like this is going to be a close game, but Bills.
I'm going to go with the upset pick, the Jaguars, because, again, they need the win. So don't be afraid of a desperate team.
Great. Jags kept it close with Miami, and Bills blew up Miami. So it should be an interesting game, right? AFC slugfest, right? So I'm going to have to go with the Jags as well. We're going to catch them slipping. Bobby.
Bobby says Jags beat the Bills because screw Buffalo.
I like it. I like it.
Such a Bobby thing to say. Such a Bobby thing to say.
I would not be surprised if the Jags
last
win,
game,
however.
Anything is possible, right?
Anything is possible.
The 1-1 Commanders at the 0-2 Bengals on Monday Night Football. This game is in Cincinnati, Sin City.
Why is this Monday Night Football?
Because somebody doesn't know how to make the schedule. I think they have an AI system to make it a schedule, and they must have gave it a virus. I didn't say that out loud. I didn't say that out loud.
I'm going chicka Slim Shady.
Or more accurately, I think he looks like Cody Rhodes, but I get where you're going.
Oh, there you go.
Lock of the week, Cincinnati.
Yeah, if Cincinnati can't win at home against the Commanders, I mean, what are you doing? What are we
doing here? They're not going to wake up if they can't win at home against the Commanders.
I mean, it's just going to be having your alarm clocks on snooze.
Just stay home.
However, as a Steelers fan, it would be hilarious if they did. I would love that.
Bengals all day.
Bengals.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we're at a little bit over the hour and a half mark, trying to keep it at about a 1:15 to 1:30. So, appreciate everybody. Shout out to Shady Sports Network. Shout out to Sports Wave Network. Shout out to everybody that watched, everybody that commented, everybody who's going to come and watch this replay, because you still got a chance to see 30 minutes if you haven't watched any before games start. Actually, about 45, because most games start about 105, 115. So, appreciate everybody. We'll be back next week, week 4, more tomfoolery, and we are out.